Okay, in this video we're going to take a look at the essay I've just done and look at the vocabulary and just have a quick discussion about what phrases and words you can use and why I'm using particular words in particular places. So let's read through. Look at this here. We can actually let me just save this. Okay, we can take this out. Let's put a space. The something, whatever your essay is, have been a fundamental part of something else, commonly society, since whenever the time is. Okay, so you can change the, obviously you can take the out, you can change have, right? So whatever it is, banks have been a fundamental part of society since the 17th century, whatever it is, right? Education has been a fundamental part of society since the mid-19th century. Okay. In fact, they were also a part of primitive societies. This is just making our initial sentence stronger. Okay, you notice there's a comma there. This is an introductory element, and that means that anything before this is not the subject. The subject is they. And notice I'm referencing backwards. That creates cohesion. So they meaning the banks, okay, or whatever it is we put here. This essay will argue that. You can just copy this every time. Okay. You notice after that we have the subject of the subject verb object. Subject, verb, object. The arts are valuable. So this essay will argue that. You can copy, and then you got your subject, verb, object. Okay. Banks are good. Simple, right? Now we said and that because they're not only valuable, but they should continue. You see, actually looking back, I should have read this before I finished. Should continue to invest in them. I didn't really explicitly, very clearly say this again, and I should. Rather than spending money on public services, yeah. This money, yeah. Okay. Almost all of the arts have an element of social interaction. Okay. Why almost all? Because if you say all, there's a good chance your examiner is going to think, I can think of one that's not, and maybe you can a bit. And then, like academically, you don't make bold statements like that. You always say like, there's an element, there's a part. Okay, it's called hedging. And actually, I should do a video on hedging as well. Let me just make a list here. Hedging. Okay. So almost all of the arts have an element of social interaction. Have an element of. Okay. So most classes, let's say, if you're doing something on education, have an element of individual work or homework or group work or whatever it is, right? Have an element of is your phrase. Have an element of. This has an element of, and it just means a part. Okay? This is true of seemingly solitary arts. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying, okay, not all of the arts, but we've seen that it is actually true of some that seem solitary, like fine art. Because what an examiner will think is, oh, well, I wonder, this is the way English people basically think, is like, oh, I bet you I can find, it's like a game to them. I bet you I can find a fine art, or an art, sorry, that is solitary and doesn't have a social element. So what I do is pick out the one that seems solitary, and I say, no, actually, there's social interaction going on there as well, in this way. So this is true of, can be used as a phrase to follow whatever you said here when you're going to give an example. Okay, gives an example. Good. So the work to the public. Bringing people together. Okay, you can use Darren to start. You can also use it. Bringing people together too. And you could actually change this people to students. Bringing students together to study, to create, to learn, whatever you're gonna, anything you want to put in there. Okay? Is. So there's your verb. So bringing somebody, whatever that group is, together to do something is good. Okay, that whole phrase, you can actually, I'll do another essay. I'll just choose a random essay and I'll show you how you can use these in another essay. Okay. Now, one thing I'll say about this now is that you want cohesion. So these two things go together. Sell to the public. So bringing people together to create art is beneficial for so this is our point we're trying to make. And you notice that together, work together comes here again. So there's this cohesion between this is good, this is what happens, and now I'm going to explain it to you. When people work together. Okay, so now we're using a complex sentence, which you studied in the grammar section. When people work together, when students work together, when whoever it is on your essay, when scientists work together, they do something. Okay, you can use this whole thing again. They commonly, and notice I say commonly, not always. It's the same as hedging. Okay, so this is hedging. Let's put a label on it. Label on that. We can look at that later. Have a sense of purpose and connectedness. They commonly have a sense of, you can use as well. So when students work together, they commonly have a sense of community and achievement or camaraderie. Okay, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is you want to say in your essay. So you can use that structure. This promotes, and again, look, I'm back referencing. I do it too much, actually. This promotes a sense of well-being in a community. As, so again, complex sentence, as we studied. This promotes a sense of, you can use that in different essays. This has been shown to, has been shown to, you can use. For example, when and again, I've got a complex sentence there. Are likely to. Are likely to get involved. And again, this is a set phrase, are likely to do something. And you can, this is part of your hedging as well. Okay. They're likely to get involved and feel a sense of pride. So students are likely to get involved, to help, to whatever it is, and feel whatever it is. Yeah? You can put overall here if you want. That's kind of a nonsense sentence, this one. But there you go. So here we started with financially, start off with an adverb. Financially, when government money goes into a theater, for example. Now this for example is not the for example that you see at the beginning of a sentence. This for example is a non-defining relative clause. So we can understand the sentence without it, so we put it in between commas and we're saying, we're just giving you an example. So when government money goes into a theater, again I'm using a lot of complex sentences. The money produces not only jobs, but stays. So this produces not only this, but this. So the something produces not only something, but does something else. Putting money into the arts helps the economy. Putting money into. You can use this phrase. Oops. It's dark, I can't see. Putting money into, putting whatever it is into. It can be money. Yeah, I guess putting with into is using a phrasal verb, which isn't great academically. You get away with it on the essay. Perhaps a better word for investing in is better. A clear example of this is a large museum. Okay, so a clear example of this is, you can use this on any essay. When another complex sentence, puts money into the museum, funds. You can use this in any essay. Museum may become popular. And again, this is hedging. This has a college benefits that are not initially intended but wanted. Okay. Scholarly benefits for the museum, the community. Yeah, I'm using when and this a little too much. So we can, instead of this, we can use a synonym. This investment. Investment. In this case, I'm going to change it now to say investment can have, again, hedging. Benefits for the museum, community, and people fly into airports. Make use of local services. Whatever it is a good example of. Okay. You notice I use and here grammatically. So this is the main. This is the main verb. This coordinator is funded by and is. So the British Museum is funded and is strong. Of an arts-based institution, which is fundamentally okay. So the arts-based institution is funded and is a strong part of the community. Kind of a complicated sentence, and actually, you are they saying that? I can change it to that if they want. Yeah, you don't need to use a sentence that's that complicated. So, in sum, investing in the arts is beneficial for country, community, and an institution, as it provides money, jobs, local pride, and connectedness. Okay, so